Welcome everybody to day number 2. It'd help if I unmuted my mic. This is going to take a bit of getting used to for me. It's been a while since I cast on my own, so I need to get used to the observing all over again. I don't know how to get rid of the team logos up here. I thought I did, it turns out I didn't, so this is going to be a bit of a rough one. I'll warn everyone now, but we'll do what we can to try and keep this thing going. Obviously, I was casting with Mark yesterday. He's busy today, so isn't going to be able to make it. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's see if we got any hot drops. It looks like we might have a couple early on, or it might just be teams split up. Potentially some vehicle hot drops down to the south here. There's Reflex Matrix, going to be really close to Rakuzan. Looks like for the time being, they're just going to focus on the vehicles. No weapons yet. Mark, if you are still in chat, please remind me of the key binding for this. I thought I knew what it was to get rid of the logos, but apparently I don't. Squad 1, they were already taking a couple shots over to their west. As you can see, Senate are going to be nearby. Looks like Squad 1 a little bit split. It looks like, since I last observed, all the key bindings are changed. So I can't even give you guys the little logos down on the minimaps, unfortunately. If anyone does remember what they are, or know what they are, please let me know, because I just had a look over in the settings, and I cannot figure it out for the life of me. It might be a little scuffed today, I'll warn everyone. Yes, and I are pretty split right now. They could end up facing a little bit of trouble if they're not too careful. It looks like Squad 1 are already starting to get aggressive here. Just trying to find themselves that angle, but nothing just yet. As again, they're rocking a 2-2 split, so there is a chance that they run into the opposing players up here. Other than that, though, seems pretty chill. Reflex Matrix have taken that ferry pier area. So the zone is going to be fairly central, so shouldn't cause too many problems for these teams, but we saw yesterday how a lot of these squads, they do like to get aggressive very early on, so it wouldn't surprise me, especially for a team like Koyo. Really enjoyed getting aggressive yesterday. Just trying to see if I have a key binding anywhere for for the team logos. Apologies if it takes me some time to get used to it, but it looks like Jungler Senny already trying to take some shots over towards 8 Val from Squad 1. Not being able to connect just yet, as he's able to make the escape on the bicycle. So it will be alright for the time being. Rat Hunters, though, they may have already heard these shots. Looking to try make their way over towards this player on the bike. I doubt that's the player that they actually heard, though. It's Kira heading off to the west. Could end up running into some of the players from Reflex Matrix. Gotta say, Havoc also super split over here. They got a player all the way down in George and then a player at the south of Chopsticks. Shivam could be in a little bit of trouble here. Looks like Squad 1 are going to be playing towards this compound. Taking some shots over in his direction. Shivam hops into the US. Going to try and make himself a bit of an escape. Doesn't look like Squad 1 are planning on giving chase. They've got a player all the way up in Stauber right now. So it may take them a bit of time to regroup. So they've got another player. That's the one who was getting shot at on the bike earlier. So please feel free to correct if I do mispronounce any names. I'll try my best. Got X. Taking some shots to the west here. Hopping in the vehicle again. Deciding to just back away from this one. A lot of teams learning from yesterday not to get too aggressive too early on. As Orcs with their 2-2 split could be in a little bit of trouble because you can see the players from 0 Hour heading down in this direction already. Trying to scout it out. They don't see any vehicles. Doesn't seem like they see any players, but they will get some shots over in their direction. So again, opting to move away. Wikipedia, though. Looked for a moment like he was a bit keen on getting involved in this one. Does have the bolt. Using that third person, just trying to get a read on where those shots are coming from, but now getting lit up from the northeast. Orc being really smart about this one, trying their best to regroup. Realising the 2-2 split, they were a little bit far apart. Being very proactive to regroup. Senna will make their way in. You imagine they go for that. I believe it's called the liquid compound. Still trying to refresh myself on all the call-outs. There's Koya. They are a team that was super dominant yesterday. Really able to pop off. Put in a lot of work for their team. Consistently making it to the late game. 8 to 10 kills per game on average. Really, really impressive performance. So it looks like Rat Hunters. They are going to be looking out to the distance. Not sure whether they actually spot any players here. I think maybe just trying to take some shots in that direction. Bait out a peek or something. Senna, they're going to be making a move over towards 0 Hour right now. Do need to be careful with this one. Looking out to the north, but not going to be able to look over this hill. Taking the volcano dip for the time being. It seems like they want to play for this one. 0 Hour not peeking anything just yet, though. Still taking a little bit of practice to get used to the third person for me and how these teams are going to take these fights. Seems like they are just scouting for the time being. Senna not happy with their position. They're sending King on a bit of a scouting mission. Infected not giving anything away, but he has spotted out the vehicle, making a move. King will be able to escape for the time being. Spoke too soon. Ken Patchy Ajax able to land the long-range headshot with the mini. Finishes off the job. Nicely done indeed. As Orc Esports look to try and confirm the flush. They haven't got the greatest angle. Infected will see the rest of the teammates. Now should have eyes on that second vehicle pulling up, but he is very exposed here. If Senna are able to regroup, they could cause major problems for Orc. It looks like Ajax gonna go over that hillside, try and finish off the job, but the revive has come through. Kenpachi does have eyes on it, going for the spray, finds a little bit of damage, followed by the headshot, but the return fire now coming through from King. Shivam's gonna have to heal. King now just trying to make it out of here alive. He's already lost a tire though, so could be in a little bit of trouble. The rest of Senna though, up on that volcano area, are gonna make a move away from here. Breaking that line of sight. 0 Hour still haven't gotten involved in this one. They wanted to get aggressive. This could have been an opportunity. They hear the vehicle. They know that there's a team here. But ultimately, do you want to be peeking this position? Looks like Senna are just going to group up for the time being. Phase 2 has popped. It's very central. Looks like a team decided to pull out the EP, but have opted not to use it. To take the vehicle instead as Senna now giving chase to UE Red, who themselves are pretty split. Gonna try and group up in school. Taking some shots over in Epic's direction. They have taken out a tire. Surprising that these Senna players have opted not to take any shots in return, but instead looking like they want to head over towards apartments. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication here about what the pull-up strategy is, unless they do really want to try and catch UE Red and take this hill, which it appears they could be doing right now. As Epic getting ready to go for that peak, will spot out the vehicle. Lands the only shot that he takes. Pretty impressive to find the damage, but not following up. Not going to be able to find any knocks or kills just yet. We do have an EP coming in from Ocean Gaming. See how they end up playing this one, because sure, there's a lot of compounds, but when you take the EP, really have to bank on getting a vehicle to be able to make that rotate. Right now, though, things do seem to have slowed down. Rat Hunters will make their move over towards 0 Hour. Just down to the south. Either team engaging, and for a region and a map that was so aggressive in the early game yesterday, I'm a little surprised to not see any deaths. Might just be a matter of time, though. UE Red will actually lose 1 to full damage here. Not sure exactly what happened there. He will go down. Is infected from Orc Esports. Will be able to find a knock over towards apartment. Just safe enough, though, so we should be able to get the revive off. Out of line of sight of the window. 4 guys on the other side of things have taken an early engagement. They've committed to Pachinki. It might just have worked out. I'm trying the press minus. It isn't working. Thank you to whoever suggested it in chat, though. I need to adjust my keybinds after this one to get rid of the logos. I apologize about this, everyone. 4 guys, though. They're not alone here in Pachinki. You do need to be cautious of Ocean Gaming. Suman has a really good angle. Will be able to connect over onto Cole. Will the nade land? It's a little bit short. 4 guys grouped up. Cole opting to stay on the roof, but it doesn't matter because it's actually the third party from Jarosal. It's able to take down Cole in the end, stealing the point away from Ocean Gaming. Is everyone now? I imagine a lot of these teams going to try and play this Potato Hill area. Trying every keybind I can think of to get these logos to go away. It looks like 0 Hour start to make their move. Got themselves a bit of a dip. FF will be taking shots over towards the rotating vehicles, but opting to play a little bit more passive. We've now got 3 teams over in Pachinki. You've got to think it's only a matter of time now till these fights kick off. Sorry, make it 4 teams over in Pachinki. It's getting clustered with all the logos. Kuhn grouping up with his team, trying to get aggressive over on towards Orc Esports here. Not giving anything away for the time being. Alwyn playing the trenches. Hoping not to get spotted out. He will make it over to the building just in time to avoid. See a C4 being placed by Ghost here. That could be very powerful if it ends up shifting over towards Pachinki next. Rat Hunters now in a position where they could try and cause problems here for Senna. Who are working their way up the hillside. The RPD, we've seen it be so utilized in this lobby already. Shredding apart those vehicles, was able to take down Jadu out of the vehicle. The rest of Senna now also going to be sending it over towards Pachinki. I think a lot of teams going to be focusing on the hard cover. Mathrabad taking the trenches instead. Could work out well for them as 4 guys. They're going to be getting crashed. Rupresh has been able to take out one, but it's Reichsel who steals it away, and it looks like King is the only player who's actually been able to make it inside right now. Killer from Havoc will open up. Gets himself a knock over towards the Mathrabad players as King trying to make that final stand. Preps himself a nade, but 4 guys looking like they're going to return one of their own right now. Frag grenade will follow up into the window. King already able to make that cross. Studs, another team that was super aggressive yesterday, able to get into a really good position early. It looks like that's exactly what they've been able to do down to the south. As 4 guys now realize they have to make the rotate out of Pachinki. So Senna and Shivam need to make a final stand, but they are so split right now. Shivam so far from the rest of the team. Senna using that third person to try and peek round the corner, not giving any info away. Perhaps a little bit more ammo. I don't think it's the ammo he has to worry about, though. It's the guys from 4 guys that he needs to be careful of, as Ninja will get taken down, but Risen quickly there for the trade, and that leaves Senna now with only 1 player left up. Everyone's starting to rotate in on that south of the Potato Hill, but you got to think Pachinki is about to become an absolute bloodbath over here with Ocean Gaming, Orc Esports, Mathrabad, all in the same square on the grid. Mathrabad can continue to play this trench. We have to wonder whether leaving Ike's left alone is the right play here, because the whole of UE Red are going to head in this direction. I don't think they've got the read onto Ike's left, as he's trying to use that third person. Will now hear them, will now see them, but they've already made it to the trench. Needs to call this out to the rest of his team. Gets himself an opening knock over on towards Bullup. Flushes it out, but now that position has been exposed. The nade will follow through from UE Red. First one misses, the second one is on the money, but somehow manages to survive it. Sandwich Slayer getting ready for the peak, opens up, connects onto Michael. Only Speedo left up here for UE Red. So he now has to play this extremely carefully indeed. Mathrabad, they're just popping off onto everyone right now. They've been able to take down a player from Koya. As Havoc, Killer, tries to get involved on this, stealing some kills away, but no joy. Maybe he can land the headshot, but not to be. As now Stud opens up, takes down Captain Pucher. Looks like Reflex Matrix going to be pretty happy with their current position, just trying to fortify a little. They want to try and play this ridge as long as they can. Squad Matrix looking down towards Squad 1, not able to finish off the job. A lot of damage connecting, though. As Hikatori tries to make something happen, they do need to be careful of these Kuzan players. They've made themselves a bit of a dip, so I don't think they're too worried right now. 4 guys, though, they are, as they've been taken down low. Rupesh has fallen, will be flushed out. Risen now trying to make a final stand inside the building. This is Ninja's opportunity to make something happen, but no, he will get taken out, will be knocked, and it's all onto Risen. As Ninja just not able to watch the crossfire, and well, Risen went for the peak. I don't think he was expecting players to be inside of that window. As Mathrabad tries to get involved, Suman is ready with the flash. He's clearing out the back room. He makes the wrong call, though. But it doesn't matter, as Ocean Gaming will be able to finish off 4 guys. They're the first team to fall today. As the zone continues to push in, Phase 5 has now popped. It's going to force all of these Pachinki teams out. See if Ake's left. It's going to be able to finish off UE Red here. Looking out for Speedo. Trying to find the peak, should be able to spot him. Got himself the Mark 12. Not expecting the player to climb up, though. Speedo needs to be careful. His phase 5 does not tickle. Opts to deny the points. Not sure whether that was a poorly timed first aid, but he will get out in 15th position. Not able to pick up any placement points out of this match. Ocean Gaming looking to take the vehicle, but the nade, oh, it's on the money. That's nearly it, and it is for Raccoon. Takes him down. Suman, the only player left up here for Ocean Gaming, trying his best to get over to safety. Masterabad also getting involved. They've taken down one of the players from Orc. 2 left up. Now Infected going to be out in the blue. Needs to try and make the cross, but surely he's going to get taken out, and he does. Only Alwyn left here for Orc. So the painkiller will get popped. The jammer pack could be a lifesaver here. But how long are you really willing to spend inside the blue? Ocean Gaming, Suman might just be on his way out. 0 Hour also eliminated as they tried to make a crash over in towards FF. This thing's really kicking off here. Ocean Gaming trying their best to make a final stand. Orc Esports will fall. Senna going to push over the hillside. There's Havoc wreaking havoc right now over on the southwestern side of the circle. The nades are coming in, but they're a little bit far. I'm a Ghostly Boy tries to take down the Reflex Matrix player, but it's Studs who are able to steal it away from the compound. Senna now do open up over on towards Rat Hunters. If I can find them, that is. There's only 1 player's left up, and the bolt connects. Nicely done from Killer. Rat Hunters down in 11th. 10 teams remain. Matrabad just trying their best to run the call. But smokes are up. Shields deployed. Ocean Gaming falling 9th. Matrabad just trying to make it into the top 8 here. But they've got Koya all looking in their direction. They're going to be able to take down one. Sandwich Slayer makes it over to the dip. The heal comes through as Ripjaw just trying to spam. Matrabad, though, they are just getting torn apart by every team looking over in their direction. Ripjaw waiting with the bolt. Is he going to be able to steal that flush away? Of course he will. He's in the open. As Matrabad happy with the dip for the time being, but they are going to have to make a move sooner or later. As the circle pops. Stud's also going to have to make a move. Havoc in a really good position considering where all the other teams are right now. They're not going to be forced to engage just yet, but Matrabad aches left. He goes and sends it in. Has spotted out one, but he's down on low health. The nade could be well placed. That could be the end of him. As it bounces off the UAS, his is almost perfect, and it's Koya that go down. Matrabad somehow make it into the placement points with 6 kills on the board. Sandwich Slayer ready to peek up with the mini, looking over in Killer's direction. Finds a little bit of damage, drops prone again, jumps back up, just trying to finish off the job, but he isn't able to. He should be safe for the time being, but still not quite inside the circle. Squad 1 are starting to open up as Studs now heading over in their direction. Nade, will it connect? It seems to be a little bit wide for the time being as Stud's down to a 3, but they've got plenty of vehicles. They can make this send if they want to. Will catch a little bit of damage. Matrabad eventually fall out in 8th position as Jeru with the spray tries to open up. All it's going to take is one well-placed nade into the top floor, but Jeru doing his best to defend, and it works out. Flashbang connects now. Retire Bolter. He has to go for the first aid. He doesn't have the ability to push just yet. Rakuzen go down up on the northern side of this fight. 1-1-1 just waiting, trying to provide that Overwatch cover. The Molotov, it could be perfect. It could take down both of the Squad 1 players, but it's a little bit short, and it's only the gunshots that are able to connect in the end. Molotov return just next to the airdrop, but it's not to be. As Toxic now the final player, only bandages left. The flashbang comes through. This is the opportunity for Studs to push. Retired Bolter swings around the side, but he will be getting tagged up now by Havoc, who are trying their best to third party onto this fight, opting to back away for the time being, realizing they could get pushed from the north. But they flex up. 1-1-1 goes for the nade. Is it going to be on the money? Of course it is. Down goes Squad 1 in 6th position. We're into the top 5. But look at this. FF are opening up. This is a team that had to cross over the fields, make it through the open, and so far they have done. Down goes Hikatori. He's going to be getting flushed out. Only Cyrox left here from Squad Matrix as Havoc finishing off all of their flushes. Do take down another player, but look at this. Senna, they've still got Shivam alive. He sees the player wide in the open, opting not to take the peek just yet. Just laying prone, waiting for Cyrox. Not wanting to give everything or anything away, but you got to take the shot sooner or later. That jammer pack is completely depleted. Looking over to his east and deciding he might just be safe for the time being. Things have slowed down a bit as zone will pop slightly off to the east. Havoc have already got themselves an entry. Stud's really going to struggle with this one here. They've already made one push, but now they have to get completely through the open field. And Havoc, well, if they push a little bit further down to the south, they're going to be in a really good position to prevent this. Ghostly Boy just waiting, using that third person, ready to make the call for the rest of his team to peek over the ridgeline. Right now, though, Ved's Killer, they're just making sure that nobody can come over to their north, but as soon as they get the call that Studs are pushing, they're going to get aggressive. That's exactly what's happened. Ved tries to take some shots. He's not been able to, though. Studs able to survive just that little bit longer. Cyrox digging himself out some cover as FF trying to use that third person, not wanting to expose themselves, hoping that Havoc are able to finish the job onto these other teams, but Shivam needs to be careful here. All it takes is Cyrox to look over in this direction, and he is in trouble. Has a rough idea of where that player's going to be. Just not certain yet. Cyrox, he is digging deep right now, really just trying to make it for the late game. Retired Bolter pinned down. One going to try and make the cross out in the open, but everyone's looking his direction, or are they? They're looking that way. They're not taking shots, but it doesn't matter because in the end, Veds finishes off the job. Sorry, it's Killer who's credited with the bolt headshot to take down Studs. Now Havoc have complete control over the western side of the zone. It's going to come down to Frag Fusion to see if they're going to make any pushes or whether they are just going to wait, hope that Pankill, the rest of Havoc, get a little bit over-aggressive, but Havoc being really well disciplined here. Shivam, he's managed to sneak his way between two cars. You got to think if Havoc peek over, though, that position will be given away. And Cyrox, well, I thought we were playing PUBG, but he's just playing Minecraft right now, having some fun with the pickaxe, digging himself out a bit of a trench. I mean, if no team is pushing you, why not try and open up that terrain a little bit more? It's Havoc getting a little twitchy here. You can see from the way that they're moving, they want to try and get aggressive. They want to seal this game for themselves. Mortars. No, sorry, not Mortars. The Doritos coming in. A little bit of emergency cover. As Villain opting to move down the hillside, surprisingly. He's got himself a helmet off the body. Not sure whether Havoc were able to spot that or not. Looks like they're a little bit focused on themselves. Still a wide area of open hillside that they need to try and cross over. Cyrox still just using his dip. Shivam, now is the time. You're going to have to make the point, the fight somewhere. It's just a question of whether you wait until the zone starts to move. Got to think if he gets line on sight on one of these players and they open up, that's your opportunity to push. The flashbang is perfect. Ghostly Boy able to spot him out. Cyrox uses this to his advantage to peek up, gets himself a knock, finds himself a second to go with it. That's two players from Havoc down, from a four-man down to a duo, gets the flush to confirm the point. Surely this is the opportunity for FF to push, but no, it's just Pankill holding this solo player on his own. His teammate trying to provide some covering fire. Right now, he's not able to get an angle. FF, they're just playing so passive right now. They could so easily third-party onto this. Pankill will be able to take down Cyrox from Squad Matrix as he picks up his teammate to try and give them that player advantage. But look how low Pankill's health is. FF are just opting to stay in that TPP, stay in the dip, keep their heads down. I think they've got the read onto where Veds is, but I don't think Havoc have any idea where FF are. This flashbang should be the cue. But no peek coming out. Havoc should be able to stick the res here. No, it's just a bit of a waiting game. Seeing who's going to be the one to get aggressive first. We are down to phase 9. So the emergency cover will be called in sooner or later. by Villain. Bed's making a move to group up with his teammates. Is this the right play, though? Villain will push out into the open. Not sure whether he was able to spot one or not. Molotov will come through. It's going to be a little bit short. Really just burning through a lot of util here as this zone closes in. FF going to be forced to move. Havoc can maybe hold just a little longer. The flashbang really well placed. That should have been their opportunity to go, but it's not it. FF now pinched between the blue and the open, leaving it a little bit late for the emergency cover, but they do throw it out after all of that. Flashbang goes up, but they're just not connecting. It's Flash Central right now. That one does a lot better. And that gives FF the opportunity to move. Havoc now pinned in against the blue. This could be disastrous for them. But look at this. The Panzer attempt comes out. It's only going to be Pankill left up. He's pinched up against the blue. He's not able to make it happen. And it's Team Frag Fusion who take the win with 12 kills. Havoc, though, putting out a lot of damage that game. Really, really impressive. We're going to take a very short break, but we'll be back in just a moment. And we are back with game number 2 of the day. We are heading over to Miramar, as it's going to be a very southern playing path for these teams to try and navigate. Pretty far down to the south indeed, as teams are really going to be forced into their alternate drop spots. Remember, you can see drop spots by doing exclamation point leaderboard and going onto E-Wave. You should be able to see who has claimed what. And look at this, I even updated the match counter, so I'm a better producer than Mark is after all. As down in Puerto, it looks like we might have ourselves a bit of a hot drop early on. Havoc, team that really popped off in that last game until very final moments, will be landing over towards Rat Hunters, and Ghostly Boy could be in a bit of trouble here. So we'll grab himself the nade. He's got himself a weapon to go with it. Oh no, this could be really bad. Look at this, Reichsel is up on the roof. Ghostly Boy has got a shotgun, so you'd say you'd favor him at close range, but that micro Uzi can be so powerful. Ghostly Boy, oh, manages to catch him once, but not with the second. Reichsel finishes off the job, and it's going to be one fall in early from Havoc. Killer closing in. Knows where these players are, but he hasn't been able to find himself an opening just yet. Just playing passive. He's got a helmet, no body armor to go with it. Rat Hunters, super split at the moment. Down to the south. Really need to try and focus on grouping up. Killer just going to try and make something out of this, as it looks like Mathrabad have been able to get themselves an opening kill. Div is just waiting, doesn't have line of sight onto Killer, but does spot the other two Havoc players. Gets himself a nade ready, really well placed, but he's not going to be able to make anything out of it. Killer coming out on top. Reich's already has himself the AK. A little bit late on the shots, though, as Rat Hunter's now fallen apart. Their other two teammates are just so far away. Finally making their way in. Havoc have lost one, but they do have the res beacon in their town, and the circle has popped down to the southwest. I'm going to give the same bit of advice I give in every time when I see a circle like this. You want to try and take this hillside over on the west. This seems to just be a magnet for zones when they pop down here. As Koya will be able to find one. Looked for a second like we were going to see a fight south of Impala, but not to be. There's Yui Red already down a player to Koya. Again, on those top teams from yesterday, Yui Red, it feels like they've just faced so many problems. Always on the rotate, just getting caught out. See if they fare a bit better in this early game fight, but there's so much space between the two teams here. Be surprised if either team opts to take the fight. It looks like Cicadia, though, will be closing in. Out in the open, needs to be careful. Goes to the shots onto the vehicle. Andy getting absolutely lit up. Two players from UE Red going to be waiting, but he does manage to make it into the building. Oh, and he opened himself up completely here. He's got the shotgun, trying to close the distance, but it's Speedo who picks up the kill. Kidlam tries to return the fire. Does find a little bit of damage. Can he finish off the job? Not to be. Michael gets over to safety. As Koya, now with a player knocked, will continue to close the distance. Ripjaw waiting to find an opening and unpeaks at the worst possible time. UE Red will move away from this. Smokes are coming up. It's UE Red. For a minute, I thought they threw the smoke onto the body, but no, it's Koya throwing it down to try and break the lines of sight. Speedo not falling for it, though. Catches the spray, but runs out of ammo. Completely, actually. Forced switch over to the Iron Sights Mini. Not working out great for him right now. Cicadia has taken the bus to try and get a flank going. Instead opting to loot, but Spraylag closing in the distance. Just look at how low all the ammo is for all these players. Spraylag will get himself the knock, but he's frozen. Is he disconnected? No, he's in. So will find himself the flush. Picks up the RPD more than likely. This is a messy fight for the early game. Michael will fall. Speedo now the last player left up for UE Red. Just trying his best to survive, but completely surrounded. No meds to deal with. So you got to think Koya are the favourable ones in this fight. Underhand flash comes out. 20 bullets in the clip. Getting caught from all angles. And it's the shotgun that finishes the job. UE Red down in 16th. And remember, there's a res beacon. Sequoia going to be in a good position going forward. Should be able to bring that fourth player back up now. It's up to the north. Havoc. They've managed to get, I want to say, back up to a 4-man, but no. Opting not to use the res beacon. FF will take themselves the EP. Probably the best way to go about it when you have such a southern playing path. You don't know where these teams are actually going to end up. Looks like Squad 1. Happy looting the prison. For the time being, things will slow down. That aggression that we saw yesterday has definitely tapered off a little bit compared to what we saw previously. But it's a question of scouting out, making sure those areas are clear before you try and push in. Jungly Senna will hear the shots down the hill. Choosing not to act on them just yet. EP from FF will finally get them in. You got to think they're trying to prioritize the high ground in a circle like this, though. You really want to take a high ridgeline because there are so many valleys you can set up choke points in. Shots will be coming out from King as he spots out Surav, but not being able to connect. It looks like Shivam actually wanting to give chase a little bit. No, just wants to get a little bit closer. Take the compound, maybe. Does he? So it looks like he's actually trying to get an angle over on towards the Orc player. Themselves are pretty spread thin, trying to take control of a lot of ground for the early game. They do need to be careful. Very easy to get punished in a split like this, especially as teams are already rotating. Surav will spot out the Bronco. Opting to hold his fire for the time being. That's got to be the cue to take the shots, though. Only takes one. Here's the second vehicle behind him, but not able to connect with those. Again, that RPD, it's been so powerful. That vehicle already starting to smoke for a second. Just a bit of dust being kicked up. The tire's low. It's not taken out just yet. Shadu taking some shots of his own. Just like Reflex looking down the hill, trying to connect onto RZ. Not being able to. RZ will be able to take control of this compound if they choose to do so, but they're opting to go a little bit further down to the southwest now. FF will finally make it in. I'm not sure what's going on with all these teams up on the northeast, though. I'm not sure whether it just took them a while to get to their loot spots after the southern playing path or what, but Havoc, I mean, they should have been looted and moving pretty early, even with a player down. Opting to leave it a little late here. Don't even know what's going on with Squad Matrix right now. It looks like they have used the res beacon to bring in their final player. No, they haven't. My mistake. So, just really being late on the rotate here. We'll see how the circle shifts. This pulls down to the south. It's going to cause problems. And you know what? Shifting off to the west, arguably going to cause even more problems. A big chunk of water, a big chunk of unplayable terrain. And of course, that bridge still in play could cause problems. It looks like Rat Hunter's going to opt to move down to the south on their rotate instead of just playing the southern coast. Sure, it will take them a little bit longer, but it gives them that extra security. FF will now drop in. Let's see if Studs are able to spot this out here. Yeah, what is live? Well, actually, he's looking over towards the glider. Not even looking at the parachuting players. Now his attention's drawn, though. Able to connect with a couple of shots over onto Crazy Dude. Wiki Rex also going to look out as 111 has now made the call. This could be detrimental. It's what is live that's able to connect with the opening knock. Immediately goes for the res. Can Wiki Rex connect with the grenade? It's a little bit high. Does a bit of splash damage. Villain forced to cancel the res here, as the second nade might be enough to finish off the job, and it is. Villain actually falling to jumping off the roof right now. So he will go down. Senna, on the other hand, going to be getting caught out in the open. His teammate knocked. Zepic just laying prone. He's trying to stay behind the vehicle, but Reflex Matrix have full control over this one. Explodey coming over that hillside, getting ready to take the fight. There it is. Down goes Senna. More shots coming in from long range. Looks like Jungly maybe not realizing that there is going to be a player up to the north of them. These four guys still have one, but not too worried. Plenty of distance to work with. So many teams opting to go down to Valle del Mar now. Studs already picking off 2 kills after that EP went wrong earlier. FF actually opted to do a pretty big split there. Not sure exactly why. Maybe we're worried that there was going to be a team in here. Orcs should be looking up to the north. They probably hear those vehicles from four guys. They certainly do. But Arwin waiting for the opportunity to take the shots. Waiting for a player to be wide open. Thinks he can connect, but unfortunately just not able to. The rest of Orc all looking in this direction. Four guys. Not a lot of space to work with in this zone. But at least they have the hard cover. And they're very central inside of this circle. Studs will hear the shots from Orcs. There's only going to be Surav behind. So he looks to try and group up with the rest of his team. He will hear the nade. I think that was from Studs further down to the south. Surav now. Just anchoring, really. Studs opting not to push. I don't think they have enough info. Realizing that it's probably going to be across the road. So it's a lot of open space to try and move through. Down on the south, don't forget, Rat Hunters, they made themselves across, and, oh, Toxic has Godex to rights right here. Wide open, and there it is, synchronizing the shots. Squad 1 will be able to get the knock. There's only going to be one player left up from Rat Hunters. It's going to be Druve, and, yeah, no chance of him getting the revive. Circle will center up over on Valle del Mar, so there's still the opportunity for these southern teams to stay down to the south, as Hikatori will be called back in for Squad Matrix. Pretty far from the rest of his team, so maybe just going to be a bit of a UAV here, not necessarily playing to make it back into the game, just to grab that extra info. Squad 1 will take down GodX from Rat Hunters. So they're now down to just a solo, and Droove is taking some fire from across the way. Mathrabad leaving it a little bit late on the rotate again, as Havoc have been able to get up to a 4-man, but they have been up in the blue all the way up until this point. You got to wonder what their util is looking like. They're pretty low on meds. They should be able to make it in. The question is, what can they actually make happen out of this? Squad Matrix, they're going to make a push, and we'll be getting tagged up now by the player from 0 Hour, who opted to stop on the hillside, trying to connect with some bullets, but not to be. Killer's a little bit further back as well, so he may be able to get some exit frags out of this, but he's still out in the blue. Havoc finally starting to make it in. Rakuzen just out up on that hill. They've got themselves the LMGs, just so powerful against vehicles, but not being able to take out any of the tires. All fire going to be directed over at Ghostly Boy as the final player, but he will make it over to safety for the time being. Havoc really stuck right now. Not many options to work with. They are going to go for the single building, but if Mathrabad come over this hillside, they could cause problems. They're just about inside the zone on the edge of this ridge, but it looks like they maybe want to continue moving. Aches left looking out, has spotted out the vehicles, realizes the compound's taken, and I think they're now just going to settle in this position. Wiki Rex from Studs opens up. Kira gets the trade. It's 1-1, just trying to find an opening onto this fight. SM trying to work their way in. They have confirmed themselves the kill. It's a question of how much further they want to push this one now, though. As 1-1 peeks over the wall, not giving anything away. FF have also moved into Via Del Mar, so it could be a pretty hectic ending for a second game in a row. The city's in very late, and a lot of teams opting to play them. Squad Matrix, Kira's down low. Looked for a second like a player was up close, but not to be. There it is, actually. Retired Bolter takes a couple of shots, but not able to convert over to the Narcas. They really need to try and consolidate. 1-1-1 will take down Kira, but Cyrox trying to find the trade. Manages to get a little bit of distance, but wants to throw a nade. Not sure how well this is going to work. Hikatori, by the way, is across the road, so can provide a bit of a choke point here. Cyrox needs to be careful, finds a lot of damage, but will get caught out by Infected up to the north. Hikatori just waiting. Not able to find the angle. Squad 1 now, they're making a cross as well. They could start to get involved on this fight if they choose to just try and play the ridge. That appears to be what they're trying to do. Avial getting caught down low, and it's just a mess here for Squad Matrix. They can't isolate a single fight. They will be able to finish off Studs with the shotgun as Cyrox and Hikatori push into the building, catching them off guard. But Squad 1 in real trouble down on the south. Not really a position to work with. Ripjaw trying to connect with the spray, but he's just not been able to. The circle shifted up north. It looks like Droove is opting to just swim across rather than taking the bridge as well. Ocean Gaming have the northern side. They're going to be pretty happy with this one, but Mathrabad, a pretty difficult push to try and make into the zone here. Will be able to grab the crate, getting themselves that 3 gear and the Groza. Will they be able to spot out Senna working down the hill? And more importantly, will they opt to take it? It looks like they will. The bolt shots do connect over onto King, but not able to finish off the job. Senna now taking a position that I think Mathrabad wanted to grab. Instead, Mathrabad, they opt to go around. Playing a little bit more cautiously. Havoc, they moved into this one. Only one player, I should say, from Frag Fusion. He's got himself the S12, which at close range can just be so dangerous. It's just a question of whether he can make anything happen out of this. Throws down the frag, trying to confirm himself the flush. Maybe just going to throw the Molotov for a little bit of defense. Ocean Gaming, they've also made a crash of their own. By the looks things, no, it's long range shots over on towards Koyo. Frag Fusion will fall. Pankill is caught by the Molotov, trying to pop that first aid. Is he going to be able to get it in time? Just about avoids going down to the flames. Drew still trying his best to cross here. Senate need to try and group up. Not in an ideal position. So they start to get tagged apart by Zinc. Just noticed as well, Reflex Matrix have themselves a mortar. They've identified a team up on this hillside. Could they try and make something out of it? Or are Senna just providing too much pressure? Hikatori also taking fight up against Mathrabad, who themselves are very congested here. Only 2 players left standing. So 1 is down. The nade could connect. Seems to be good. Can it take down Hikatori? No, both players down low. Cyroc's going to make the push here. Looking for the angle, finds himself the flush. Looking for more players, though. Webe goes down. Only 1 player left up now for Mathrabad. It's going to be U2 Noob. Laying prone. Not wanting to give that position away, but right now, SM, they are just clearing out as a complete unit. Killer is still over on the other side, so does need to be cautious here. Cyrox throws down the smoke. U2 Noob opting not to peek. The zone's still leaving a lot of Aya Del Mar in, so you gotta think teams are gonna try and play this for as long as they can. Just making the most out of the hard cover. Things are definitely favouring the teams like Rakuzan right now, who have the high ground. If this thing shifts up to the north, they're going to be very happy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel at that point. But for the time being, things relatively chill considering just how many squads are in such a small area. But the hard cover really making a difference for this one. So U2 Noob still laying prone. SM have been able to group up. Squad 1 now moving in from the south. Orc Esports looking a little low on ammo. Zyax lands a couple of shots, but needs to be sparing with him. He's got an M249 as well. You'd hope that thing's fully loaded. Ocean Gaming try and make the cross. Ripjaw attempting to punish. Not quite able to finish off the job. Ocean should be safe-ish. At least for now. They've got themselves some hard cover, but you got to think those vehicles are going to lose some tyres. May end up seeing a bit of a clown car put together. Pankill with the bolt. Takes down King for Havoc. Drakazent still not able to make anything happen. It looks like they got a player on the mortar, though. As we have just crashed. We'll be back in a moment. Apologies there for the inconvenience. We're loading back in now. Fortunately, it is still PUBG. As Explodey will be able to take down Captain Poocher, gets himself the flush to go with it. I've got to hit all my keybinds again quickly. Just going to try and follow the action here while I try and catch up. It looks like Mathrabad have been able to take down one from Squad Matrix. Haven't been able to finish off the job just yet. Hikatori with the Groza tries to make something happen. He will. Down go Mathrabad. As the P90 is powerful, but not at this kind of range. Suman ready. Just trying to pre-fire. The vehicle has now blown. So Gulu's just going to be forced to lay prone. Circle, by the way, has shifted down to the south. Ever so slightly. It still leaves some of Aya Del Mar in, as it looks like Reflex Matrix now going to be forced to make a move, and oh, that BZ nade was amazing from whoever threw that. Ogrib, though, does have himself the jammer pack, so will be able to survive a little bit longer. Havoc, Pankill, pushes in, gets the knock over on towards Zik, as Hikatori manages to catch them in the pinch. That's 10 kills now for Squad Matrix. It's Reflex Matrix that go down in 11th, followed quickly by Squad 1 in 10th. As teams just getting torn apart. The pinch on Via Del Mar causing so many problems for these squads. Jungly Senna go down as 4 guys will lose a player. It looks like Ocean Gaming, they wanted to send a player over in this direction. It's not going to work out too well for them, though. If you're going to commit, you got to do it as a squad. 0 Hour, that solo player with the P90, able to make something happen, will find the flush. It gets the 2nd point on the board now for 0 Hour. As I think that was supposed to be a smoke grenade, as he thinks there's a player over there. Ocean Gaming down to just a solo. The nades from RZ landing just that little bit too short. Smoke wall will go up. That one seems a little better. Does connect, but still not quite able to get over the rock. Havoc go down in 8th as Crazy also falling. They're now getting third-partied by 4 guys down the hillside. So Ghostia just waiting right now. Needs to try and make something happen. 0 Hour will fall, so we're into the top 6 teams. That vehicle about to blow by the looks of things, but RZ managed to survive. Glitch needs to try and get the res through. It's easier said than done when there's a mini red zone coming through. 4 guys still happy in their compound, actually really happy with this zone as well. Spraylag will try and close in, realizes that this is probably their best option. It's wide open ahead of Koya right now. So Spraylag just closing down the distance. Ghostia with the bolt. I mean, hey, they're good, but at this kind of distance, you've really got to hit those shots first time around. Emergency cover being called in, I think, by RZ. See, though, if Ghostia can make something happen with it. He does manage to land 1 bolt shot over onto Astro, but it's not going to be enough to finish the job. Now getting third party by Ripjaw. Koya starting to open up. Spraylag will do the same. Looking for Risen. Not able to finish off the job, though. Spraylag now just waiting. Koya need to try and consolidate. Spraylag caught now out in the open. Red zone attempt by 4 guys. As Hikatori, what just happened down here? It looks like Squad Matrix decided to send the vehicle straight over the hill towards Koya. And they get punished for it. We're into the top 4. 2 full squads remaining. Kuzan are still going to be up. They managed to get all 3 players back into the fight. They've got to try and deal with Orcs now. The nade is on the money, though. Surav goes down, infected. Looking up the hill, he's identified where they're coming from. He knows the player, but I don't think he's ready to peek just yet. Spraylag takes down 1 from 4 guys as well. As Infected is just absolutely pinned right now. It does look like Koya, they're getting ready to make the push down in 4 guys' direction. Nade comes close to Cole. The first one fails. The second one just a little bit undercooked. Still finds some damage, but 4 guys down to 2 guys. Potentially down to 1 if this nade connects. No, manages to jump in the window just in time, but plenty of damage being fired. BZ nade. Can Spraylag make the most out of this one? He still has plenty of util. He's popping the meds, trying to get back to full health. 1 well-placed frag could be the end of 4 guys, but they managed to get back up to 3. Ripjaw just laying prone, using the crater for cover. He's more focused on Rakuzen, though. Spraylag takes down Cole. Isn't taking a completely separate fight. Opting not to focus on this one. Andy, though, from Koya with the Panzer, takes down 1. Leaves only Rupesh left standing. Trying his best to go for the revive, but needs to be really careful of those players pushing, and that's exactly what happened. Koya finish off the job. 4 guys out in 4th. Orc also taking a casualty, but they have been able to get him back up. Rakuzen just making cover where they can. Quite literally right now with the pickaxe, trying to make something happen, but the smoke's starting to dissipate soon enough. Orc getting ready to peek over the hillside. As Koya flex out a little bit further. Infected just trying to cover. A little bit preoccupied by Rakuzen. Needs to be careful of Koya. Further down the hill. Looks like Ripjaw did take a little bit of... Sorry, Spraylag takes a little bit of damage. But right now, Koya, they are dead center. Moving the Bronco into position. Andy getting very aggressive here. Realizes that Orc are further down to the south. Maybe going to use the Bronco for cover, but not to be. The nade, it seems to be on the money, but just a little bit far. Now Kenji peeks up. The RPD just so powerful. Him and Awin working together to find themselves one knot. But Kenji now out in the blue, going to be forced to make a run. And he gets tagged up by Crazy. Will be able to finish off the job. Rakuzen down to a solo. Trying to get the heal off, but the blue zone creeping in. Shots coming out from Koya right now as they have to be the favorites to take this game. Still with 3 players up. The BZ nade. I mean, if that doesn't finish him off, then Blue Zone surely will. Crazy somehow managing to get prone, but taking just that little bit of damage might be enough to finish off Rakuzen. As he's opting to stick the heal for a second there. Changes his mind. Down to low health. Playing the dip as best as he can. Maybe just hoping the Orcs are going to get caught in this fight. The BZ nade, that's actually really good. Really going to cause problems here. As Rakuzen fall. Almost taking the rock out completely for Orcs as Ripjaw manages to land the FAMAS shots. It's all down to Koyo now, throwing down the flashbangs wherever they can. The RPD just so powerful. Using every bit of util they've got left. Only flashes and smokes remaining. Spraylag being a little bit more cautious with using this one. Ripjaw just using that third person. Spraylag finding more damage. But all the util has been used now. Spraylag reloads at the worst possible time. Down goes Awin. Infected to follow. It's only going to be Surav left up, but not for long as Koya get themselves the chicken dinner with 16 kills. That is the dominance that we were talking about yesterday. Really impressive indeed. We're going to be back in just a couple moments. And we are back with game number 3. And we are over on Tago for this one. Pretty standard playing path. We did see a couple teams try and land down at Hosam Prison yesterday, so that one's probably going to be out of the running. But we will see how things unfold from here. Just remember, this is a little bit of a different map rotation. We play 5 games per evening, starting and ending with Erangel. Koya, a team that was so dominant in that last match, well, they're taking arguably the most dominant drop spot over towards Terminal. Anyone who's played public matches knows just how aggressive that can be, and I'm sure that in the scrims there's been plenty of fights over this drop spot, not only for the quality of loot, but also just how central it is. You've got vehicles nearby, but let's forget about that, because we've already got a hot drop kicking off right here between Rat Hunters and Squad Matrix. Squad Matrix down to 2, but have been able to connect. Get themselves one trade for the time being. Kira focusing on the points, getting himself a vest. He's got the RPD, but has he got time to actually hit the reload? Div Karen healing up for the time being. Squad Matrix will get another one down. Remember that there is that res beacon in this drop spot. It's not the end of the world for either of these teams. You just need to try and clean up that fight quickly. So the circle's popped and they are nowhere near it. So they need to get that fight cleaned up. Finish off the job. Div doesn't have any heals by the looks of things. Really just playing for info, making sure that Kira isn't able to get out of this building. There's a painkiller nearby, which is, I guess, something. Killer. The bolt. Only iron sights on it, I believe, though. Oh, no. My mistake. So does need to be a little bit careful here. Exactly how things are going to look. So far, it is Squad Matrix Kira. It's at the top of the leaderboard for damage, but it's because he was able to find that shotgun kill. RH have been able to heal up at least a little bit. Div finally with some bandages. Right now it's going to be a bit of a slow burn on this fight. We did see shots kicking off over towards Fishing Camp as well. Pretty commonplace to see these early game hot drop fights. Again, for that ability of how easy it is to rotate out of there. Kira, this is a interesting play. Opting to stay prone for the time being. Killer should have a crossfire if anyone manages to sneak up behind him. Gotta wonder how long these teams can commit to this one. Does RH continue to wrap round? Codex is just waiting. Not sure if he spotted Kira make the move out, but using that third person just to avoid anything happening. Switch over for the time being, over to the fight with Orcs. They're down to a 2-man themselves. Kenji just a little bit late to spot that one out, and it's going to be Raccoon who finds it. So Alwyn, the final player left up, no helmet. No real opportunity to make the cross. Even got a smoke grenade to work with. Ocean Gaming find the flush. Alwyn has the read on this. He's prepping himself a nade here. Needs to cook this just right to be able to connect with anything. He's now giving away his position. Finds a little bit of damage. Can't convert it over to a kill, though. As Alwyn runs away. Suman ready for it. And it's the nade that finishes off the job. Raccoon credited with the kill. Kira will fall. He's killing out. Trying his best to make an escape. Doesn't quite work out for him. BP is being used by a couple of teams here to avoid having to rotate over the bridge. I imagine that TRX probably heard the shots down to the south, trying to avoid the fight. As focus now shifts over to the center of the circle. 0 hour, going to try and grab themselves some compounds by the looks of things. Unless they're not content with this, they managed to get themselves 4 vehicles, so if 4 guys were banking on that one, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Should see those vehicles below them and adjust accordingly. So UE Red will hold on to airport. They, I believe, dropped here, so opted not to make any moves. Look at this, Mathrabad. They're going towards Yongchan, and Kuzan nearly caused them some problems. These 4 guys will choose to drop in the end. Nowhere near any other teams just yet. Bragg Fusion. They opt to move to take the hillside. I wonder if they are going to go for this compound, whether this is a bit of a scout or whether just going to continue going. Looks like for the time being, they're going to keep on moving. There are compounds up ahead they could grab, but they don't have the best visibility. Frag Fusion, they seem to be one of those teams where they do prioritize getting that late game position rather than the early game fights. And it's worked out for them once so far, over on a Orangle game earlier. Able to pick up 12 kills and making it to, I believe, the final 2. If not, definitely the final 3. 4 guys. They will spot out the team parachuting. Only able to connect with 1 bullet so far, and now 4 guys on a bit of the back foot here. We'll be able to connect with some damage over towards Zinc. The nade just a little bit short. Well, never mind, that one's perfect the second time around. And pretty lucky with the bounce. Also lucky with the follow-ups. Not sure whether they've got a good read on where that knock actually was, but Purple is down. Not really in an easily revivable position here, as 4 guys now trying their best to regroup, but they're so clustered up. They're really vulnerable to grenades right now. Ogrib, sorry. Just trying to find the opening. Zinc will find the flush. Ogrib going for the reload at the worst possible time. Opens up with some shots. Finishes off Ninja. There's 4 guys down to 2, potentially down to 1 if that nade was a little bit closer. Rupesh, though, managing to survive. Only got bandages to work with. Can't really make the peak, but he will try and take down Ogrib. It's too little too late, though, as the nade finishes off the job, and now it's all on to Cole as the final player. Using that third person will make the spot. Opting not to peek just yet, maybe hoping that this team will make the push onto him. BZ nades close, but not enough to finish off the job. Molotov to follow. It's actually a double BZ. It's Cole just waiting. Surely Zinc has spotted something here, as Zinc will be able to get himself the kill. Cole switches to first person at really poor time. He could have potentially got himself the knock onto Explodey. It's got to be the cue, but no, he's waiting. Realizes there's a player inside of his building. Goes for the peek, manages to get the knock, immediately goes for the flush, realizing just how dire the point situation is, but it's not going to be enough. TRX able to take down 4 guys out in 15th position. Up to the northwest, though, we do have Havoc. They're going to be taking a fight up against Rakuzan. As Crazy just completely shredded, goes for the seat swap, but punished for doing so. Astro, the final player from Havoc, in the smoke out of the 2. He goes down. Sorry, Rakuzan goes down. As Havoc still 4 strong. 1 left to cross the bridge now from Havoc, though. Zveds just going for the run over. And Enko opting to back away from this fight. Circle shifts hard up to the northwest, so a lot of water that these teams are now going to have to try and negotiate. Ocean Gaming closing in, but it's going to be Bullet with the bolt to take down 1. Speedo's already up close. Raccoon has now been flushed. Cicada's also fallen for UE Red. The nade isn't what they would have hoped. It's a little bit short, bounces off one of the roofs. UE Red trying their best to close in here. Ghostia has the read, using the third person, catches the peak perfectly, takes down 1. He's got the ace in hand. He can't find the second just yet. Spoke too soon. There it is. Ocean Gaming, 2 players left up, but they are so split. Suman needs to try and take down Speedo to at least find themselves an opening onto this one, but it's not to be. Sorry, Speedo is the final player left up here for UE Red now. Only 1 kill on the board for them. As teams start to cluster up, there's so limited space for a phase 2 circle here. Speedo now just taking cover behind the wall, trying his best to stay safe. Ocean going to be pretty happy with how this one's turned out, but need to be careful as it looks like Studs are going for a really far east rotate. Retired Bolter in the vehicle, swapping over to the Dacia. No, he drops his teammate off. Gotta wonder, is Speedo gonna take any shots here? Will this be the dinner bell ringing for Stud? Seemingly not, as they continue to pass without a problem. Crates landing over in the center, probably going to be useful for some team, not even just for the loot, but purely for the sake of that safety net, that little bit of extra cover. If this circle centers up again, expect to see a lot of chaos very early on in this game. Down on the south, Squad 1, Zeru, just in the vehicle, opting to cross over the bridge, heading from the southeast instead. Everyone heavily fortified very early on, in close proximity. 0 hour, they're just going to be digging some holes, buying themselves a little bit of extra cover on this hillside, realizing that there is going to be a squad nearby over to the east. Don't really have the best angles on it, not any windows in these buildings, so I think these teams are going to be neighbors for the foreseeable future. Senna will open up onto Koyo, though, as Ripjaw groups up with the rest of his squad. Firoz nearly falls, but will be able to survive for the time being. Andy did manage to get some return fire over on towards Jado. Shivam throws down the smoke to get Jungly Senna back up to a 4-man now. Speedo still cooking out in the blue. Ocean really need to look at making a move. Ain's good. Nicely done to take down one of the Squad 1 players from range. Themselves, yeah, they are in the zone, but these grow houses are just so easy to spot players through, to pick apart. Sure, you might not be able to convert the knocks very easily, but you can do a hell of a lot of damage onto them. For the time being, the circle shifted down to the south. The valley still in. Enko, the final player from Rakuzen, is still alive. Maybe going to try and pick up those tags from his teammates, bring them back in. There's only really one res beacon in reach here, and Havoc, they know about this squad. It wouldn't surprise me if they're waiting for Enko to try and make the move. That'll be like a dinner bell ringing. Looks like some mortar fire going to come out here from FF down towards the south. It's close to Squad 1, but just about able to survive this time. Squad 1, they are actually going to be inside of the circle here. So, while it isn't the best cover, it's cover all the same. Something they were maybe lacking if they didn't take this position. Ocean Gaming have managed to get themselves a little bit to work with. Speedo still out in the blue. He's got plenty of heals. You'd imagine he's going for that res beacon to try and bring his team back into things. Enko, yep, he's grabbed the tags. He's going for a res beacon of his own here. As now things slow down. King in a little bit of a long-range battle down to the southwest. Maybe here's the vehicle of Sandwich Slayer pull up. Sandwich Slayer probably not realizing just how surrounded he actually is. Jado looking just the wrong direction, maybe waiting for follow-up players. Sandwich Slayer has spotted one of Senna out, but as soon as he takes these shots, you've got to think he's going to be surrounded. The vehicle draws attention in his direction. He will be punished. Wave 8 tries to close in, jumps out the vehicle a little bit early. One bullet would have finished the job, but manages to get the heal just in time, or does he? The nade looks close. Oh, it's just too far, though. Wave 8 prepping a nade of his own, realizes where this player's going to be, tries to connect with it, weakens him up, weakens the vehicle up, manages to get the kill in the end over onto King. Speedo goes down to full damage. Not sure exactly what happened there. I thought he was going for the res beacon. Looks like he was able to get his team in after all. Enko doing the same here. Will be able to bring all three players, I believe, back in. Looks like Havoc weren't able to destroy those chips. This could work out well for Rat Hunters, though. There's a load of crates down below Druve, so he could loot up, get himself something to work with. Wave 8 will take down Jadu. Senna really regretting not taking the shots earlier. They could have very easily got a point without many consequences. Sure, they've got themselves a point, but what cost here? Losing so many players so early on. Shivam now trying to watch out for the rotate. Spot out Mathrabad. Just trying his best to find the angle. Shivam hopping back into the vehicle. Mathrabad taking salvage in the dip, but still inside of the blue. Looks like they're potentially going to try and play this cliffside, which depending on how you look at it, could work out really well for Druve or really badly. I mean, he's pretty much kitted up right now. I spoke too soon. He's only got a link, so see how good he is with the bolt here. Wave looking out, not able to spot him. Ocean Gaming falling 13th. Squad 1 able to finish up that one. Hikatori's still alive here for Squad Matrix. Looks like he was only just recalled in. TRX now taking the fight up against Studs. 2 players left, 4 Studs. One inside the compound. This BZ could be really well placed, but just a little bit wide, and that's going to be the cue now. The Zinc to open up. He's out in the BZ nade, though, will fall because of it. Ogrib just trying to find an opening, but WikiRex and What Is Live working really well as a 2-man to keep this one going. Ogrib going for the res. Flashbang spins around the side, maybe expecting this player to peek. What Is Live? Oh, he's spotted out now, but gets the res just in time. At least they've got the extra player. Surely the one that's lower HP should go for the peek, try and bait, but it doesn't work out. Reflex Matrix fall down in 12th position. Stud should be able to heal up here. Hikatori's finally managed to get himself some loot, but needs meds, needs a vest, needs something. Right here, completely exposed out in the open. All players coming in from the south. You got to think that Squad 1 should be able to spot him out if they come over this ridge line, but he's just about able to break the line of sight. We'll hear them, and there it is. Toxic spotted him. That's going to be the end of Hikatori. I believe only 1 player left up now for Squad Matrix. Studs now make their way into the zone. Squad 1 looking over in their direction, but not being able to connect with anything. Rakuzen, we saw the res beacon called in by them earlier. Not being able to make much out of it just yet, and you got to think options are going to be very limited for them. Havoc did make their cross over the river. As Druve will fall, Ved's credited with the kill. That's 4 on the board now for Havoc. As they continue to look out, Mathrabad will have heard these shots. They're sending Aches left around. This is an interesting play, and wow, he's going to be punished for it. Ved's landing the shots. I don't think U2 Noob's going to be in a position to try and get the heal off now. Cyrox just looping around in the sky. More parachutes coming in. Surprise Killer isn't trying to take some shots over towards this. I think he's a little bit preoccupied. But no, now he sees the players wide open. No health, no armor. And that should be a free knock. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. That's 2 free kills now on the board for Havoc. That should take them up to 6 overall. Rakuzen not going to be too happy about that one after just about managing to get back into the game. Crazy, the solo player left. Kira also going to be parachuting in, just getting absolutely lit up now by Koya, and they finish off the job. Squad Matrix down in 10th. 9 teams now remain. So we wait to see how things unfold. Abueve has been spotted out, thinks he's got the cover. Unfortunately, just not enough. Not able to go prone, caught with the headshot. Abueve's down. Only 1 left for Mathrabad. It's U2 Noob, and he's just going to sit in this shack for as long as he possibly can. Epic also caught out in the open after, I believe, using an EP. Able to get himself the heal. Throws down the smoke, but Ved's seeming like he wanted to look over in this direction. More mortars now starting to land through. Not sure how successful that's going to be unless it's able to connect onto the roof. Sorry, that was completely the wrong direction. That's heading over towards Squad 1 instead. Havoc just wreaking havoc this game. They make it up to 10 kills for the match. Maybe not aware of Epic. Smoke should have given them a cue. They know there's a player over here somewhere. They haven't been able to spot him, and Ved's just looking away at the worst possible time. A second smoke pops. That's going to be Ved's cue. It's actually Feroz who does the majority of damage. Nade comes close, not close enough. Shots will give away the position. And there it is. The nade actually does finish off the job. It's centered down in 9th. We're into the top 8. Mathrabad, that solo player, able to take down 2. Nearly makes it a 3rd. Nearly survives in 7th place. But Pooch are able to come out on top of this one. He's gained control of the shack. I'm not even sure where his teammate is. Just laying prone by the looks of things. Getting surrounded by mortars. Just about inside the circle. I imagine he's going to keep his head down for the time being, just like Crazy's doing. I thought Crazy was the player who managed to survive and should have loot, but seemingly not, as Crazy. Not a gun, Not a helmet, no backpack, just laying prone, sneaking into the zone. I imagine he's going to play inside this bush for as long as possible, as 0 Hour might be able to provide him that little bit of safety. You almost have to wonder, though, if someone overshoots a mortar over in towards 0 Hour's position, Crazy could be on the receiving end. Zed sends it in. Maybe thought this area was free. Definitely a nasty surprise waiting for him there, though, as Phase 6 gets ready to pop. Where is it going to shift, if anywhere? And this is good for Havoc. They looked a little bit worried about getting aggressive onto that hillside. It's going to work out for them, but Koya, they've now realized they've got the zone. Want to start flexing out a little bit more. Andy getting ready to peek over the ridge. Will spot the vehicle, opting not to take the shot. He's calling out the info to the rest of his team, realizing he's exposed to 0 Hour if he tries to engage onto this one. Havoc, though, they've taken cover, not inside of the circle. Looks like Spraylag still trying to cover in case 0 Hour try and make a push. He knows that there's players behind him. So Studs, as soon as they move, you've got to think Spraylag's going to be ready. He's got the K9, but the RPD as a secondary is certainly going to help out. Mortars will start to land in. Are they the right area, though? Seemingly not. Completely wild mortars. As now they start to lock in over towards 0 Hour. Remember, we do have that destructible terrain, so they could actually be buying 0 Hour a little bit of extra cover here. Nothing connecting just yet, though. Andy Koya, though, with a really nice MK headshot over on towards Band for Life. The rest of 0 Hour now grouping up on this position. Shots will start to kick out as Studs just trying to make something happen. Having to throw down the smokes just to make it that little bit further forward. This vehicle is very low, though. Trying their best to get over to safety. But they are just getting completely shredded apart. The vehicle's going to blow. Can they make it anywhere at all? It seems like they made it over to the US. Now it's just a case of digging for cover. But you know, the FF, they are just going to throw everything they can at this position. BZ nade looks like that was thrown by Squad 1. It's not going to be close enough to do any real damage, though. The Studs just buying themselves a little bit of space. Spraylag ready, throws in the Molotov. It actually looks really close to what is live, and that should just about spread. No! He's on the very edge. He just about manages to survive the Molotov. If he moves an inch, he could be in trouble. Nade coming close to Captain Future, and well, that frag does the job. Spraylag takes down Wiki Rex. Only one player left, but the vehicle blows up, and that is the end of Studs down in 7th position. Crazy, by the way, still alive, still laying prone, sneaking in, but he's going to have to get up, otherwise he's going to go down to the blue. He's made it into placement point territory for his team, and it looks like he's content with that, just happy to deny to the zone. And now we have a top 5, but look at this. FF, they're going to start working up the hillside. Smokes are coming out to break the lines of sight as Crazy Dude being third-partied now by Koya up to the north. Got themselves a bit of a ridge to work with, but they're very exposed. 0 Hour exposed themselves. Take down Villain with the spray. More smokes to follow. And 0 Hour just doing what they can with this terrain. Squad 1 fall down in 5th as Captain Future spotted out in the shack. Andy able to finish off the job. Sherlock from 0 Hour gets the flush, takes down Crazy Dude as well. Jarasal now forced to play point on this position. Throws down a smoke for a little bit of extra safety, but Ripjaw is just stealing the kills away from 0 Hour. Jarasal trying to get himself a little bit of extra util. He's got the Molotov, but Ripjaw is just shredding 0 Hour apart. Man for life. He's in the smoke. He hears the player playing slow. And there it is. The hip fire gets himself the knock, but the final player from FF able to return the fire. 0 Hour now down to 2 on the far side. They're trying to deal with Havoc. All while Koya are closing in. They've landed the Molotov. Ainzu taken down low, should be able to get the first aid, but all it's going to take is a couple of well-placed shots from Andy, but he's not able to make anything happen out of it. Actually, Andy nearly getting taken out before Spraylag hops out the vehicle, takes him down with the RPD, and then there were 3 teams remaining. 0 Hour try and make a push on Havoc. It works out so far. Wikipedia takes down Pankill, but there it is. Koya again with the third party, taking down another. It's a 4v1v1. Unless the revives have anything to say about it. Ghostly boy, sorry. Throws down the smoke, trying to get the res off. It looks like 0 Hour doing exactly the same. Nades are close. Not close enough to get the kill, but might be enough to get a re-knock onto Havoc. That appears to be the case. Down goes Feds. 0 Hour fallen immediately after Havoc as well. 10 kills in the chicken dinner there for Koya, but it's Havoc that steals the show completely in terms of kills and damage. And we are back with game number 4 of the day, our penultimate match, one remaining when we go back to a wrangle. It looks like we might have a hot drop early on here between Reflex Matrix and the Orcs. So we'll hop on board and see what may happen. This ain't going to be the first to hit the ground, as actually looks a little bit messy here. Orc have managed to land on the same building as each other, so should provide them that little bit of an extra safety net, able to at least play for trades, but loot is going to be a lot more limited. You can see one of them's got a vest, one of them's got a helmet. Ajax, a little bit further away. Still going to be watching the cross. It looks like Suman was actually able to take down Astro with a punch right there. Interesting. Probably just a flush. So the shots will open up. Oh, this is actually really nicely played from Reflex Matrix here, but the nade just can't connect. Explodey down to low health, not really able to make much happen out of this. More frags to follow, I'm sure, as Orc Esports pinned down pretty heavily in position. Almost surrounded right now. Just waiting for one of those TRX players to expose themselves a little bit. Right now, seems like TRX pretty content with looting. They've got Orcs pinched. Zinc looking to move around the back as more frags come through. There's one Orc that's a little bit further away than the rest. Maybe trying to just cover that back wall. Doesn't look like it's working so well right now, though. Can at least give the info to his team before they get pushed, but from this kind of range, I wonder how much support is actually going to be there. TRX will be able to open things up by taking down Infected. Kenpachi trades it, though. Zinc looking to try and find the angle. Will spot him, calls it out. Not taking the shots just yet. The audio cue gives away position. It's Kenpachi now in a bit of a TPP battle. Kenpachi comes out on top as Purple wants to try and finish the job. His teammate started. He's only got one in the chamber here. Jumps up onto the wall, misses the shot, but opts to commit to this one instead. Goes for the reload. Not opting to switch weapons. This could be detrimental, and Kenpachi absolutely pops off. Absolutely squad wipes Reflex Matrix there, taking them down in 16th position. Really unfortunate for them, but look at this hot drop. We got 3 teams all in the same area here. So UE Red consolidated. Rat Hunter's a little bit further away. Thought for a second they'd already lost a player, but no. It's actually Godex just a little bit further behind. Trying to catch UE Red in a bit of a pinch, potentially. As FF decide to move away from this one. We got another hot drop down in the market. Zenko getting absolutely torn apart. Thinks he's safe, but not to be. Ghostia finishes off the job. As Ocean Gaming get themselves the opening on this one. Frag just a little bit short. Crazy. Like he tried to return some fire. It doesn't work out. There's only 2 players left up here from Rat Hunters, as Glitch just using the third person to try and get a bit of an advantage. Ocean Gaming, though, with the clear advantage, at least in terms of players. Just clearing out with frag grenades where they can. Not sure where these 2 members of RZ are actually going to be. It's surprising to see so many hot drops early on, but I guess the plane path cut off that eastern area of the map, kind of forced players to go to alternate drops. It actually looks like 4 guys. They've also spotted out Havoc, so they might be in an early game battle, but we'll hop back down to Rakuzen. It's crazy. He's been able to spot out one, maybe hoping that Ocean Gaming will try and make that cross. Just being careful not to give anything away. Glitch now should be getting the call that there are players over in this direction, but he's opting not to move. It's leaving Crazy a little bit isolated here, so could potentially find himself in a 4v1 fight. That is not a position you want to be in. Glitch needs to close up to the rest of his team quickly. Being able to grab any info just yet. It's Ocean Gaming just clearing as a unit right now. Actually got Ghostia up on top. Just in case any of those players from RZ have been able to wrap around and It almost seems like Ocean think this is what's happening. Because Crazy and Glitch have been so disciplined with not giving away their position, Ocean's starting to second guess themselves. They think they've been wrapped already. Might even think they're surrounded. Ocean, just keeping an eye out. Don't drop down off of the roof. Maybe opting to back away from this one, because they've not got the info that they really need right now to be able to take this fight effectively. It's like Rat Hunters over in Dan Chin have been able to move out of there. Yui Red will remain as a 4-man. A couple of teams rotating around the same area, going very central very early on. Not a bad thing, but to be careful not to get caught out on those rotates. Ocean Gaming, looks like they're going to back away from this fight now. I'm not sure whether it's just for loot, but they are just going to go for the bus and hop in, try and make an exit out of this one. But this has worked out pretty well for Rakuzen. There is a res beacon here, so they can bring their teammates back in to the fight if they're able to survive. It's a question now whether Ocean, have they already taken the respawn tags? It looks like they are just going to opt to move away unless they're going for a really surprising flank. But with that zone closing in, they want to prioritize the move. Orc Esports, by the way, team that lost 2 in the hot drop, have been able to bring 2 players back in, so they are back up to a full 4-man. No teams really in the area to cause them a threat, and they should be able to get a pickup off of their teammates. Real question now is, where's that first fight going to kick off? It looks like 4 guys are going to be taking some shots over to the west, just asserting their dominance early on. Doesn't seem like they have the best loot so far, so might be looking to clean off a couple of players and grab something off of their bodies. So it looks like Mathrabad will be getting caught out on the rotate. Andy just trying to find the angle, not able to. Looks like Ripjaw, however, will be able to take down one, flush it out immediately. No chance of a revive. I'm surprised that there was a Mathrabad player up here, unless they lost a player earlier that I missed. There's Mathrabad all the way down to the southwest. Very, very split early on in the game. There's Orc. We mentioned them earlier. They did manage to get the res beacon call in, so they are back up to a 4. Looks like Surab may be a little limited on ammo for the time being, so needs to try and prioritize that. And obviously, you see an RPD, you have to take it. That's what we've learned from this lobby so far. Teams definitely opting to do that RPD whenever you get the opportunity. The north side, not a single team in. And well, that's worked out, hasn't it? With a hard shift down to the south very early on. It does leave a lot of open terrain on the southern side, but honestly, it's not the best to try and play out of. Can definitely see an end game being exciting here, as a lot of teams going to be crashing for these individual compounds, but let's take a look and see if there's going to be any shifts. It looks like Veds will be getting shot at by Squad Matrix, but not taking any real damage. Was a little bit preoccupied with Senna, who were rotating ahead of him, maybe taking the position that they would have wanted. It's Cole. Long-range shots, not able to connect with them, though. Looking over towards the stadium, making sure that no one snuck up behind them, but looks like most teams going to be heading around this Jiaotin area. I wonder if this is the way this lobby chooses to play. We've seen it a lot. If there's a city in phase number 2, a lot of teams will commit to it, which definitely favors some, but you end up taking so many fights. You're very limited when the time comes to force you out. This hillside, remember, can provide amazing lines of sight over on towards Jiaotin, especially when those teams do decide to finally make a move out of here. But right now, it's only Havoc that have actually made it in. Koya opting to play the hillsides. This is definitely a preferred way to play this early on. You don't want to commit to that city too early, because it is nigh on impossible to make it out of the city once you're committed. Looks like Ripjaw maybe realizing this isn't the play that he wants to make. Havoc, Killer, firing some shots in that direction. But Havoc, remember, they are so split up right now. Veds is out on his own. He's taking shots. I think it's more so to prevent teams crashing in. But Rat Hunters, he has no idea that they're there. They're going to use this for all it's worth, to get some info. They've spotted out Veds. He hasn't spotted them, just shooting blindly. And there it is. Veds will be caught out, not taken down just yet, though, as he's hit with the shots. Manages to get the heal, but the rest of Rat Hunters are closing in, hunting down the single rat, holding the wall. For the time being, will be safe. Drew throws out a nade. That bounces close. Only does 3 damage, though. Just a little bit too far. Rest of Havoc now making a move out of the city. Try and group up to take this fight, but they're basically crashing a compound here that they already had control of. So there was a roadkill. Not sure exactly where or how that one happened. See Drew just watching with that RPD. Trying his best to make something happen, but not able to find the opening. Looks like Risen. Well, he spotted out Sandwich Slayer. That could be the end of him. EMP zone is where Sandwich Slayer will fall. The nade beautifully timed. The headshot to follow with it. The respawn coming in from Astro. It looks like RZ weren't able to grab that second teammate's tag. There's now Havoc. Could be in for a little bit of trouble. More teams starting to head down in this direction. RZ, that player, will be scouting out now. FF looking happy to take the hillside. There's still a little bit of jouting in, but at this point, most teams are going to move away. And I did point out this is an interesting place for an endgame. It certainly looks like that could be what we're due for. DR Orc Esports looking out. Trying to find RZ, but not being able to just yet. Squad 1, the team that managed to get a run over kill earlier, nearly getting ran out of town by Kuzan. They've got 2 more players pulling up. Zero has no idea there's going to be a player behind this car. That should be the end of him. But no, the nade's a little bit short. The shots follow up and take down Zero. Only 1 player left up. It's going to be Poocher trying to find the headshot, trying to find the bolt, but he can't connect onto Glitch. Now Crazy out in the blue, looking to try and find an angle. Nice spray, though, coming out from Captain Poocher. It was actually Raxsail that managed to finish off the job, I think. As Crazy goes for the seat swap, it doesn't work out. That Pico bus is low. Poocher's got no ammo left. He's just going to sit in the vehicle. That's probably going to be the end of him when this thing blows. No, he manages to survive just about. An RZ just surrounding here. He's got a smoke in hand. Didn't realize the Orca sneaking up, though. Astro in real trouble, taking the 2v1. And how the tables have turned from Razukan taking that fight over towards Squad 1. They're now being punished. Toxic has fallen. The reload comes through, but it's not going to be enough for Rakuzan, as they will fall. But now Orc, they're starting to close in as well, doing a lot of damage over towards Captain Poocher, who is pinned down behind the vehicle, manages to get the first aid kit, will be able to heal up, but completely surrounded. The nade is on the money. Infected, credited with the kill, and it's only Aviel left up. Just going to try and dip out of here, make something happen out of what for SQ1 has been almost a throwaway game. 3 points on the board. Can he maybe get into placement here? Let's hop over to the center, though, because look at this. 4 teams now, all playing for the same position. Studs have made a crash in. They're trying to sneak up behind our Rat Hunters. Seems Rat Hunters have the read on this, but they just can't get an angle. The only way to get the shots down there is to jump up on the wall and risk exposing yourself, which he does, but just a little too late. Drew takes down what is live. So that's the first player from Studs to fall. Again, another really dominant team in this lobby. Reichsel jumps up, trying to connect, not able to get the knock, but finds just a little bit of damage over onto WikiRex. FF also trying to close in now, as they throw the nade in the direction of Killer, but it's going to be retired Bolter who opens things up, getting the knock over on towards Drew. Reichsel making a one-man stand on this roof right now, getting third-partied from Yui Red at extremely long range. Molotov lands through. It's not going to connect onto Drew, but RH basically is a 2-man inside this building. It's all onto Raxel as a solo right now to try and make something happen. Havoc also trying their best to defend. Pankill just sitting inside of the shed, hoping for the best. Raxel will go down to WikiRex, and now only 2 players left up from Rat Hunters, but they will try and get Drew back in as they go for the heal. Can they make something happen with the bolt here? It's going to be difficult at this kind of range. Phase 4 now starting to make a move, and it is really centering up in the one place I thought would be interesting to see. And, well, Certainly intrigued to see how this unfolds, especially this fight with Orcs, as it looks like Kenpachi has spotted out some of the UE Red players, but he's not going to be able to land any shots onto them. UE Red, they've all got vehicles, but it looks like they want to try and commit onto this fight. They don't want to move away from it just yet. Smokes will go down for that little bit of extra cover, but Kenpachi is pretty much solo. Alwyn able to group up with his teammate, closing the distance, providing just that extra support as Andy from Koya manages to take down Suman. Ocean Gaming in trouble. Andy up on high, though. He's very exposed in this position. The third-party attempt coming through from Jungly Senna. But they're not able to find anything just yet. Spray with the nade. Needs to be careful that he doesn't overcommit here. If anything, he's just buying cover for the opposing team. Andy just popping off alongside Firoz. Takes down 2 from Ocean Gaming. I believe there's only 1 left up now. He's holding the shack for all it's worth. That BZ nade is almost perfect. That's going to cause problems here for Ghostia, as he's just getting peppered with shots from afar. Flashbang comes in. Ripjaw trying to close the distance. Molly's, BZ's everywhere that he can see. Tries to go for the spray. Manages to connect, but the Afterlife nade works out and takes down Ocean Gaming in 14th position. Considering the amount of action, I'm surprised there's only 13 teams left at this point. UE Red, they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive, trying to pull Bullet back into things. It's Kenpachi going for the res. That could open him up to a nade if Michael can get this res off. The BZ's close to Speedo. Taking the rock almost entirely, completely out of play right now. Surav going for a long-range spray. He only manages to land 1 bullet off of it, though. It's Kenpachi completely out in the open, but it doesn't matter to him. He's able to connect. In the end, though, he does get traded out by Bullup. Cicada needs to open up, make something happen, but he's not able to catch them in the pinch, as Orc now completely surrounded. They've lost another player. Surak is trying to wrap around, trying to find an opening onto UE Red, but he just hasn't been able to. Needs to pop the heal before committing onto this. He's got 1 smoke left to use. Surely the frag grenade is what he opts to go for, but no, he tries to take the aim battle completely out in the open. Another BZ to follow, trying to clear out the ridge. I think it was intended for the rock, but it's not to be. Michael will bleed. No chance of getting him back up, but it's Koya in the end who were credited with the kill from extremely long range on that one. 2 players left up from UE Red. Aviel, the solo player from Squad 1, well, he could try and get himself a kill out of this one, but needs to be careful because Ripjaw is flanking round the back. And yeah, he's going to be able to spot him out. As soon as Aviel hops in that vehicle, he's probably done for. For the time being, Ripjaw not able to get an angle. Koya getting so aggressive, taking multiple fights at once. They are tearing apart Ninja from 4 guys as Kidlam just trying to find himself that crossfire up to the north center. They're trying to defend their position. They've only got Epic left up, as the nade surely bound to land close. Not close enough to find any damage, though, as Epic just trying to confirm himself that point. Keeping aware that SM could try move up onto this position. He'll be credited with it. Squad Matrix, Hikatori taken down extremely low. Epic trying to make a final stand, completely out of util. All it's going to take is 1 well-placed flash, and they can push in here. As more util starts to come through, still not able to connect. Could be a big spray, but it could be a big miss. As he manages to take down Falcon, Epic will fall. Falcon looks like he's about to go down to the blue here. SM just deciding to back away from this one as the long-range shots start to land in. Akesleft trying to make something happen onto that Pico bus, but he's not able to. They are just sending it for anything they can. Probably going to try and play under the bridge. No, they keep going. They're going for the compound where everyone's already posted up. Crazy Dude and Villain work together to take down Hikatori. Cyrox just out in his own in the bus, playing the wall, 9 HP. Surely it's got to be over, and it is. Jarrusel credited with the kill. 12 place for Squad Matrix as now things start to open up inside of the compound. FF lose Ainzu God, but Havoc have held firm. They've not lost a player since moving into this area. And it's Orc that go down in 11th. UE Red, Bullop popping off with the bolt action to finish off the job. Let's see how the circle's going to pop. This thing pulls up to the south, then we're going to see mayhem up in the northeast. But for the time being, teams happy being close to each other by the looks of things. His meds will be getting popped. Aviel, by the way, still alive. Still 10 teams remain, though, so he's not made it into placement territory. So there it is, the circle. It shifts down to the south. It was bound to happen sooner or later. So Wikipedia actually takes down Bullock with the VSS. Not something you see all too often. Speedo going to try and go for the res, realizing they've now got a really good position inside of the zone. He's sitting on the car trying to make the res here. Really banking that that smoke's able to provide him some safety. Which it should just about do. Mathrabad are a little bit split with only 2 players left up. Akeslift has a good read on those FF players up to the north, but things are really starting to come down to the wire here as Phase 6 is going to start making a move. Druve takes down retired Bolter as now Studs forced into the fight. Nicely done from 1-1. Takes down a second to go with it. Studs managing to stay alive, confirming the kill points where they can. That's 3 on the board, trying to go for the res. But they need to be careful because there's a player about to open up that door. 1-1's ready for it, though. Rat Hunter's down in 10th. The Studs managed to come out of this one relatively unscathed, looking to try and get the res off. Pankill getting caught out by Jarasal out in the open as he tries to finish off the job. The smoke just breaks the cover. Pankill goes for the res, for the heal, but he's punished for it. As is Jarasal, both players bound to fall. As Havoc now have worked their way out of the compound, but it's going to be Frag Fusion that managed to get further ahead of them, just relying on a car and a shield for cover, but this car is smoking. It's only a matter of time till it blows, and there it is. They're punished. Rupesh finishes off the job with the DMR. Havoc now just trying to hold out Studs where they can, but they can't give up their focus. They're still not inside the circle. They've still got to fight their way through Frag Fusion as soon as they get the opportunity. Smokes are up here for Studs as that little bit of extra safety net. They've still got walls to work with, but still plenty of space to close down. Killer takes down 1-1. Ban for Life preps himself a frag grenade. It looks like it's going to be close. It bounces over the wall, but it's not going to be enough to finish off the job on either of those players, as Havoc going to be getting credited. Speedo with long range, by the way, also takes down what is live, so it leaves only WikiRex left up. 0 hour. Not much time to get off of this bridge. They're trying to use it for cover where they can. WikiRex has the read. You got to think he's going to go for the peak. That's exactly what he does. Sherlock, oh, not the smartest idea to go for the vault there. Is he going to be able to make it into the blue? Maybe just about, as Wikipedia able to trade it out and finishes off WikiRex. That Studs going down. Mathrabad, they're now making a push over into 4 guys, but they're going to be quickly taken out by a team of Rupesh and Ghostly Boy. Risen gets shots fired towards him by Havoc, who themselves have only just called in an airdrop, throwing down the smokes for a little bit of extra safety. 0 hour look to be back up to 3 now, though. Or at least will be shortly, as that knocked player does manage to survive. Circle hard shifts up to the north, so Havoc now not having to make a move. Yui Red, they're taking long-range shots. They're trying to get involved where they can. Open up the teams to the north, give themselves the opportunity to move. 4 guys go down. It's Havoc that finish them off, but it's Koya that get credited with 2 of the kills, thanks to a really well-placed nade. Ripjaw's far away from the rest of his team, but he does have a vehicle, should be able to rotate over. Bullup's still locked into this fight, but his armor is completely gone. The helmet next to nothing left on it. Havoc down to a solo. It's only going to be Killer left up. He's looking over towards 0 hour as the flashbang comes through. Switches over to the shotgun, but it's going to be Kidlam who finishes off the job. Nicely done there for Koya. Yet again, making it to the late game 4 strong with a serious advantage over these other teams. Just looking to grow their lead right now. 0 hour just outside the zone, but should be able to make something out of this cover as the rest of the teams try and make their way in. It's like Koya, they've just about made the cross, opting to play the bridge, trying to play the high ground. Really nice 4x spray there from Andy as he looks over towards Wikipedia, but gets punished by Sherlock. Able to get down behind cover just in time, leaving Koya as 4 strong. Ripjaw just playing as a solo, trying his best to anchor and take down Yui Red as Koya make it up to 10 kills, but Ripjaw caught with a nasty shot there from Bullup, I think that was. Was it Speedo with the links? Really now isolated. Opts to jump in the vehicle. Oh, that is so smart. He jumped in the vehicle, turned on the engine to bait Bullup into peeking, but is he going to be able to survive? Just about 6 HP, manages to make it out of dodge. as now Kidlam preps himself a nade. Where's it going to go? It's close to Wikipedia. It should be enough to finish off the job, and now there's only Sherlock left with only a dip to play. Koya coming into their own in the end of this game. The timing is becoming all more important with only one left tonight. Speedo goes down to full damage. Looks like he jumped out that vehicle just a little bit early. It's a 1v4. Sherlock trying to make something happen. He's pinned against the blue. Got the jammer pack. Is he going to opt to deny to zone? No, he's still trying to get a couple of points out of this one. But surely that should be the end of things as Kidlam peeks over. It's Koya yet again with another chicken dinner. This time, 13 kills to go with it. So impressive from them. The final game is coming up next. And it is time for the final game of the evening. Back on our angle, back home, and Koya have just absolutely dominated so far tonight, consistently making it to the late game with a huge number of kills. I gotta say, if there's ever going to be a circle that's going to go towards Military Island, this has got to be one of them. Though I would love to see a Milta Power ending. They are some of my favourites. As it looks like Lipovka may end up being an area with 3 teams inside of it. Studs, what is live, is opting to move away. He's just going to go for the vehicle, group up with the rest of his team. But in terms of a hot drop, it's not the first one we've had tonight now. It's TRX. Might just have isolated Reichsel. He's got himself a Vector. Going to try and close down the distance, but needs to be careful here because TRX could easily try and regroup on him. He will be able to get the opening knock, but as I mentioned, immediately traded out. Explodey actually falls to Godex. Godex, is he going to be looking for the Panzer kill here? It's all he's got to work with, so needs to make it count. Probably not worth going for the flush on this one. Rat Hunters have lost one, but they find another one of their own. Nicely done to take down Zinc. Only Ogrib left up. He's got himself the shotgun. Listening out for those audio cues. It's now Truth. Oh, not able to capitalize on it. They've got the read onto where this player is. But Ogrib just staying completely still. Nearly exposed right there. Too Drooved. Neither player able to get the jump. The shotgun definitely favored at close range, but you need to get a shot off for it to work. Down go Reflex Matrix. 16th position, and what a circle this one is. Definitely leaning towards that Military Island, but let's hop on board with Squad Matrix now. Because they've lost a player to Mathrabad. Both opting to go towards Milta. Just about inside the circle, so this could be a bit of a slow burn of a fight. Just check for any other hot drops. It does seem like it's going to be all right for now. You got to think Ocean Gaming, they're going to be very happy with this circle. And I will say, I have seen a lot of these before where you get a circle like this, you think, oh, we're going down to Millie Island. Then at the last minute, they just shift up to the northeast and end up being towards Milta. So time will tell how this one goes. Azu God is going to make the pass without any real threat right now. So now, just a bit of a waiting game. Neither team has too much info on the other. We'll be looking out as Squad 1 actually going to be getting some kills. Not even sure where they are. I'm looking at the map. We're towards Orcs. I honestly have no idea where they are. I'm very confused right now. Where are they? I must be missing something here. I'm missing the logos. It's got to be obvious, but still, nicely done by Squad 1. Oh, they're down on the south coast. That's what's going on. Squad 1 set up a camp over on the southern coast. And Orc Esports got punished for it. I think they were maybe setting up over at Ferry Pier. No, they can't have done. Was there a boat or something down here? Is it a case of two squads both trying to set up the camp on the Ferry Pier? I'm so confused. But either way, Squad 1, they're not content with this. They want to try and finish off the job. Orcs, just trying to make it away from here. Maybe going to try for the compound, but you've got to think this is a compound that is rife for retaking. It's not even inside the circle. Orc Esports will make it out of here now. Maybe going for the res beacon if they manage to get the teammates' chips. Ocean Gaming able to bring their final player back into the lobby. Or is that an EP? It's an EP, my mistake. Zero. Oh, he's looking out. Surely he's going to be able to get one here. Doing a lot of damage. Can't quite finish the job, but the tire pop might just do it. In comes the spray. A lot of damage found, but he's not able to finish it again. Now he's down to low health. Does he have time to pop the first aid? Well, now he does after taking down that player and taking down the second. Orc Esports out in 15th place. Nicely done by Squad 1 to hold that southern side. But up on the north, Reichsel, he's going to be dropping in, maybe regretting his decision after hearing that vehicle so close to where he is. Be forced to run around the back here. Try and grab some loot, but you've got to imagine that FF have already managed to clear this one out. Saints who've got already spotted out this parachute. It certainly seems like it. Or maybe not. Maybe Reichsel's managed to get away with this one. Reichsel's looking over in this direction, definitely a little bit concerned. He has managed to get away with it for the time being. Oh, spoke too soon. He's now been spotted out by Jarosel. And yeah, his days are numbered unless rat hunters are able to get over here via a teleporter, but last time I checked, they haven't added those to the game yet, and it looks like now it's just going to be a case of trying to go for the run over. Never mind. Jarosol finishes off the job. That's Rat Hunters losing the same player a second time, unfortunately. EP going to be used by 4 guys. Havoc being really late on the rotate again. Still, the fight over in Milta not really kicked off. It looks like one more player of Mathrabad has gone down. So now just a 2-man. But the EP coming across, they're going to try and play for the hillside. That's already taken by Ocean Gaming, but Ocean are very split right now. Ghostia getting a little bit greedy going for the drop. He could be punished. Rat Hunters try to go for the same. Oh, and he's wide open from that angle. He's got the MK, but this could be very unfortunate. Yeah, they've spotted him. Diffricant switching over to the M249. Should have been an easy kill, but just hesitated a bit too long, and Ghostia will be able to get away from this one for the time being. As I said, the rest of his team pretty far away, but he has got a vehicle. We'll hop in it, hoping to make an escape, which appears to be the case. Over in Milta, though, does look like Mathrabad are closing in. They do want to take this fight. They realise that the chance of this circle coming up to them is pretty slim. They're just laying prone. SM lying in wait, trying to close down the distance. This is the thing with third person. It's so risky to cross these open gaps, because no matter how many times you check all these windows, there's still a chance that someone's hiding behind a wall and just being so disciplined with not exposing themselves. That's exactly what we're seeing here from Schmuddy. For a second, he would have got a peek, but maybe not spotted him just yet. Mathrabad still playing cautiously, as he would with 2 players. Yui Red will be caught on the rotate, as potentially going to lose 1, maybe 2 inside that vehicle. Perfect nade position for 1. If he can make it connect, it certainly seems to be coming close. Is the rock just about going to save them? Just a little bit short. There's 3 players down here after the vehicle spun out. So Studs need to capitalize on this, but just being a little bit too hesitant with the push. Maybe one can land a long distance spray. He finds a little bit of damage. Not able to get the knock. Maybe the MK12 can finish the job, but not to be. So Yui Red should just about get over to safety. Looks like Retired Bolter, though, wanted to give chase. Yui Red just about making it out of here. Cicada's pulled up. Oh, this could be big for Studs. if they keep Retired Bolt or closing the distance, but no, he's going to pull up on the wall instead. Circle has shifted down to the south, so these teams on the main island are going to have to make a move. Koya actually leaving it extremely late to make the move themselves. For the time being, Milter has to be where the attention goes. Or does it? Because right now, Mathrabad, I mean, they've probably got the read on the player moving, but not wanting to peek. They are still at a player disadvantage. There is a res beacon over here, but you'd hope that in a circle like this, a team tries to get a bit more aggressive, push the fight. But instead, players just staying prone, keeping their heads down and out the way. Novo, the center of the circle. Ocean Gaming could be in a really good position to hold teams from the west out, but you got to worry about if this goes east again, are they going to be able to get down this hill? Do they even have enough utility? There's so many teams they're going to be able to spot, but so few kills they can actually convert over from Nox. They're going to burn through a lot of ammo if they're trying to take a lot of shots. For the time being, though, long-range shots down towards Epic should suffice. Wave 8 will actually take down one up in Milter, so it looks like things finally starting to kick off. It's going to be Hikatori to go down, so only one player left up here for Squad Matrix. Tries to land the spray, but now his position's been identified. Just using that TPP, trying to remain safe behind the door. Mathrabad, they've got to use this to try and close in. Cyrox has the read, will spot it out, but not going to be enough to make something happen just yet. Cyrox still laying in wait. Using that third person. Studs and Yui Red, they're going to be kicking it off down on the south. We'll hop over there for just a minute. The Studs only have one player left. It's going to be one. Manages to take down one. Manages to take down two and keeps his team in it somehow. But back to the Mathrabad fight. Smoke's coming through. Players are inside of the blue now. It's only phase 2, so there's no major urgency to move. But oh, if you look down at the meds, for instance, of Cyrox, 2 first aids, 10 bandages. You'd imagine Mathrabad are going to be in a similar position right now. Are playing a little bit slower. Hikatori using the third person. He knows he's going to go down, but at least can give the read into his teammate. Cyrox, sorry. Perhaps the flash. That could be his cue to peek. But he's not able to connect with the shots as he needed to. Mathrabad just firing anything they can over in this direction, just too hesitant to make the push. And Cyrox, well, he's playing slow, but can you blame him? Just trying to make a final stand here. Both teams being very hesitant. Speaking of hesitant, what's going on with Havoc here? They're still out in the blue. The circle shifted down to the southeast, so 50% of it now is water. Ocean Gaming are going to have to make a move down, but not just yet. They can continue to play this high ground for the time being. Smokes will come through. Cyrox going to lose his line of sight. Opts to go out on the balcony. Is this the play from Mathrabad, though? They're waiting for him to peek the balcony. He goes to the spray, finds a little bit of damage, but will fall in the end. And it's Squad Matrix down in 13th position. As now, Mathrabad, Studs both need to make their way in. And Havoc maybe thinking it's going to be clear down to the south. No, they do finally get into an EP. But what can you actually play here? It's such open terrain. Sure, you've got a lot of like ridges on the hill, but not so much dips. It leaves you exposed from one angle or another. You got to think they're going all the way to the south coast or something like that. It's all I can think of. From their point of view, King is now going to hit Koya coming down to the south. Not taking the shots. Maybe Koya looking to pull up on this one. So far, Studs in the lead in terms of kills and damage. But it's still early doors. Is King looking out? Has spotted out. Leave all of the Koyo players now. Choosing not to take the shots, leaving that over to his teammates instead, as it's also going to be Squad 1 rotating this way, so I imagine they're going to end up backfilling Koyo. Koya, sorry, need to try and settle up, but so many teams have now chosen to play the south coast. Viroz looking out, has spotted out Crazy. Not going for the peak. Just biding his time, hoping that one of these RZ players overexpose themselves just enough to get that opening knock, because RZ, they are super split. They're not going to be in a position to quickly regroup on this hillside, and if they do, they're going to give away a lot of cover. Astro does get caught with a few shots, but manages to make it over to safety. Feroz now getting ready with the nade. That one looks good. It's dead on. Crazy goes down. It's only going to be Astro left. This is Koya's opportunity to push now. They need to push, I should say, because if they don't, they are just going to get backfilled. Squad 1 surely have to try and take these rocks, but they're super split. They're looking up to the north, over towards center. Koya, what's going on here? Andy's miles away from the rest of his team. Somehow manages to thread the needle. Crazy will be flushed out in the end. As Feroz just trying to finish off Astro. It's not bound to be, though. As things start to kick off all over the map, you can see Havoc, yeah, they took that EP. They've actually managed to get a vehicle out of this, so it's not terrible for them. But Pankill, just trying to scout out what's going on here. They've come into this fight with no idea, no clue that there were so many players down here, but King, he got the read on them all the way and was able to take down Pankill with the headshot. That's going to be the end of him for Havoc. Unless they can get the revive, the smokes are up, but they're just being third-partied from all over the shot. Raccoon finishes off the kill. As now Senna getting spotted out by Squad 1, also down on that cliff side. Koya will prep themselves an aid, just a little bit short to be able to connect onto either of the Squad 1 players who were very pinched, but it's just absolute mayhem down on the southern side of the zone. Andy, as the solo from Koya split from the rest of his team, just farming kills right now, trying to get the damage onto anyone, but I don't think he realizes just how many teams are surrounding him. I think that's the drawback for Koya taking a fight like this. That nade probably going to be a little bit short. That extra pressure still being provided over towards Senna. Just a bit of a waste of utility now. If anything, he's buying Senna a bit of extra cover by making those divots in the ground. That one's a lot closer, though. Shivam going to take considerable damage. That should be the end. Those two Senna players leaving only Epic left up. Tries to return with a frag of his own. It's not to be. As now the flashbang comes through. That's got to be the cue to peak for Andy. There it is on the other side of things. Koya popping off even more. 6 kills on the board in only phase 4. Make it 7 as they get the run over kill to finish the job. Havoc trying to make something out of nothing right now. They've left it so late to move in. In comes the barrel spray from Kelly. He's able to connect with a little bit of damage. The nade is about all he can hope for if Spray Lag was to stop, but he just doesn't. He's on the ball right now. Killer probably going to get spotted out any moment by Andy. But Ocean Gaming also providing pressure onto this one. There it is. Killer at the tree, but the shot is missed. That could be a bit of respite now for Killer. As Kidlam starts to close in. Going to try for the seat swap. Doesn't work out. Killer takes him down. Now Andy left out in the blue on his own. Squad 1 fall to RZ down on the south, so that's one less threat for Koya to worry about as Killer will finally fall. Only Ghostly Boy left up, trying to make something happen with the bolts. He's inside the shelter. Should be pretty looted, but Andy's ready for this, using that third person, just trying to sneak up a little bit. Nothing being given away, though. As Ocean now also tries to third party onto this. Andy steals the point away, should be able to pop the first aid. EP used, but not utilized. So much of this zone is water right now. It looks like Ocean Gaming trying to reposition. They've got frag fusion to worry about up ahead. Suman trying to peek over. Sherlock does take down one from Koya. That's going to be Koya out in 9th, so not able to make it to the late game this time around, but plenty of kills to make up for it. RZ also getting shredded apart. Only one player left up. Banned for life. Opting to pop the boost here, but he is getting shot from long range. Surprising not managed to hit him, honestly. As Banned for life peeks out, goes to the hip fire. The Grozer, it's just too strong. Rakuzen go down in 8th position, able to get a placement point out of it. 0 hour with 4 kills on the board, but you got to think 4 guys right now, in terms of pure positioning, are the most favorable. They can look up the hillside. No one can sneak up behind them unless Studs somehow decide to go for a swim. Ocean Gaming still scouting out. I think they know the vehicles are down the hill. Not sure whether they realise that there's any players down there. If he did, you got to imagine that last nade is going to be getting used quickly. The BZ as well would also get them out of there. But until somebody gets a read on these players, I don't expect any of that util to be wasted, because it is slightly limited at the moment for Ocean Gaming. On the other side of things, Mathrabad, they're down to just a solo. Only Sandwich Slayer left up. Not the first time we've seen him as the final player for the team. Just trying to sneak through behind Studs. He has made it into the play zone, so he will be happy inside of this position. Studs also not having to make a move just yet, but Pesh limiting the amount of space they actually have to work with. And there it is, Ocean Gaming. They've now got involved on this fight. It looks like Villain popped up, so he's given that position away, but it's only going to be 2 players left up here now for Ocean Gaming. Sriram just laying prone, hoping for the best. Maybe got a spot onto Villain there, not sure. Smokes are up, but all these players on the west really have to scramble to make it down. Thankfully, Frag Fusion, they have themselves a vehicle, 2 vehicles, I should say, to work with. So they've got a little bit of extra cover, but they're just so exposed over from 4 guys up on that hillside. Rat Hunters, by the way, well, they're not living up to their name. They've almost turned into what they hate the most, ratting their way in. But they are going to look to try and get these kills over on towards Frag Fusion. Sandwich Slayer for Mathrabad will fall, so that's them out. Nice spray coming out from Villain, but it's not going to be enough to finish the job. Frag Fusion down in 6th. Rat Hunters quick to follow in 5th as we make it into the top 4. 2 full squads remain. A trio and a duo. But with Phase 5 closing in, the shift could be detrimental to some of these teams. If this goes up to the north, then you maybe start to think that Studs could be in some luck here, so they're going to be the only team with any hard cover inside of this current circle. But no, not to be. They're going to have to run out in the open. All eyes have to fall to 4 guys. Sure, they have to deal with 0 hour, but they can't take all of their attention off the north. They have the opportunity to pick up some serious kill points from Studs. It's a question of how they split their attention. Ninja Red is going up to the north. He wants to be that first player to get the info. It's banned for life. Being so sneaky here. But it doesn't work out how he would have hoped. I'm not sure whether he can even make it up this cliff here. But that's a big opening knock. Ninja goes down. This gives Studs the opportunity to start making their way through. What is live is going to try and get the flush. Not sure whether he realizes there's only 1 player here. The frag is placed beautifully, but it's not going to be enough to confirm the kill. The second one, however, will, as 4 guys starting to fortify, maybe not realizing just how close they've allowed 0 hour to get. I do wonder whether Ocean are going to be able to find an angle onto this, but they've just barricaded themselves in, barely inside of the zone, realizing that these teams down over to their east are going to have to fight sooner or later. They can just keep their heads down for the time being. 0 hour got the read, maybe just trying to pop some tires for now. There's 4 guys just making the most out of the dip, trying to get the Dacia out of there. Further in, maybe trying to buy himself an extra bit of height advantage to peek over. You will see what is live, hopefully, from Studs. Making a move, though. It's risen. Just laying prone. Banned for life still sneaking up here. I say sneaking. I think it's more like struggling. I don't think he can make it up this hillside without at least giving an audio cue away to Cole, who is just digging away. Just trying to make that little bit of extra cover for themselves. Pesh is the solo player. Looking down towards Studs. He's got a read on one of them. Being so hesitant to peek here. The trees should provide him that little bit of extra cover. I think he's more concerned about Studs getting down below. Managing to close that gap. As Phase 6 continues to close, the slow burn is working its way in. Ocean Gaming just waiting right now to give anything away. Digging themselves out that little bit of extra cover. Pistol shots for whatever reason. Honestly, could not tell you what the logic was there. Maybe just getting a little bit bored. Wants to get a little trigger happy. See what's in the crate, since nothing else is happening. A Groza. Oh, Now that, if someone was brave enough to go for it, come the end game, could be so important. Circles popped. Now it's all onto Studs. They're the only team left in. They really just have to wait everyone else out now. Allow teams to come to them. Really, just wait for Fall Guys to get pushed, which appears to be the case now. Risen, trying his best to defend, will get tagged up a little bit. Throws down the smoke for that little bit of extra safety, but the nade is close. It's actually spot on. Wikipedia credited with the knock, and now Fall Guys have to regroup quickly. The Fall Guys are down to only 2. Let's not forget, by the way, 0 Hour, they still have a player down here. Oh, he's disconnected. That is very unfortunate, because if he was still in the lobby, that would be huge for him. Nades will get returned. That one's close. That one's even closer. It's a 2v2 fight, unless somehow that final player from 0 Hour is able to reconnect. Wikipedia does get caught with the flash. Sherlock trying to provide some firing cover. Spots out Cole, but gets cracked in the head. Only on one helmet as well. It's taken down extremely low. Wikipedia just trying to make something happen. Connects with a headshot of his own. Going for the first aid this late in the game. Surely that's not going to work out. Does fall to the blue. And that is most likely the end of 0 Hour unless Sherlock can solve this mystery and make it out of here, which so far he's managed to do. 36 bullets left in the chamber. Not in reserve. Finds a little bit more damage. This could be huge, and it comes out big. 4 guys eliminated out in 4th position. As Ghostia, well, he's managed to buy himself a little bit of cover here. Opting to run out in the open, though, maybe thinking he was in the zone, and now he's digging for dear life. Lays down behind the tree. Does he think that Sherlock's out of this one? I think maybe he just saw a bit of movement. Sherlock definitely sees him. That's going to be the end of him. It's Sherlock now in a 1v3, and Studs, considering what I was saying earlier, where they'd have to push out in the open, they've really made this one count. It's only Sherlock left up. Not for long, as retired Bolter comes out of retirement to finish off the job at 9 kills and the win. But in terms of the top half of the lobby, that was so impressive from Studs and 0 Hour. That's the final game of the evening. We're going to be back tomorrow. Make sure to check it out over on Mark Power's channel.